Hi, third grade teachers. My name is Kelly, and today I'm going to walk you through the migration unit for social studies. This is the second social studies unit of the year and has 16 lessons plus 3 optional and should take between 19 and 20 days to complete. This unit was designed for students to investigate westward expansion while considering multiple perspectives, such as Native Americans, explorers, white settlers, immigrants, and bringing in the concept of migration and forced migration. We're looking at patterns of homesteading, transcontinental railroad, and the gold rush. Just some background information. The Meskwaki tribe, which is talked about in this unit, is first introduced in first grade. The westward expansion topics are hit again in 5th and 8th. So third grade is meant to be a brief overview of the main topics. And railroads will be addressed again in 4th grade with an emphasis on connections to Iowa. Here's our compelling question for this unit. What factors, forces, or reasons cause people to move from one geographic area to another? We have 3 supporting questions that go along. What was westward expansion? Who are Native Americans? Who are the Meskwaki? And how does movement impact people? This unit is divided into 3 chapters, 1 per supporting question, and you can see the number of days and lessons involved in each. So chapter 1 is called Westward Expansion, and we're focusing on the compelling question, westward expansion in general, and students have a chance to do some claim, evidence, and reasoning. There is a slideshow that goes along with this unit. So the unit begins by reminding students about what they learned in the immigration unit. So you can review Ellis Island or read the name jar, discuss the concept of welcoming newcomers to a new area. Then you move into looking at the compelling question and breaking it down to how social scientists would want to learn about it. In lesson 2, we take a look at the manifest destiny picture and talk about what we see in it. Most students will notice the Native Americans, the covered wagons, the people, the farm. They might notice the clouds. They will definitely notice the figure in the middle. One thing they might not notice is that everyone is going to the left side of the photo, which is west. Up here, there are ships, which is supposed to represent East Coast. Over here are the Rockies, and then ocean again, so West Coast. So this concept of moving from east to west. It might also be interesting to note that the Native Americans do not necessarily appear to be welcoming. They appear to be more getting out of the way, as are the bison. So that might be something to reference back later on. In lesson 3, we want to go over some background information on the Louisiana Purchase and Lewis and Clark. There's quite a few suggested activities. You need to do at least one of the map analysis activities, but then pick any of the others to give some more of the background side of things. This is where the formative assessment comes in, where we make a claim about westward expansion, and students can use the information they learned in this lesson and the previous 2 lessons to help answer the question. Chapter 2 is entitled Native Americans, so we're focusing on various Native American tribes. We're looking at the Meskwaki, and we're finding out why the Meskwaki moved in and out of Iowa. So in lesson 4, we have a quick write on who are the Native Americans, and we have a comparing lives of Native Americans video and a video response sheet. In lesson 5, we have some images of Native Americans. Students can look at these images in small groups, complete as See, Think, Wonder, or other graphic organizer, or they can also complete a WDIS to point out the different items they notice. There's also a Native American Cultures PowerPoint to give more information about the backgrounds and different culture areas of various Native American regional groups. In lesson 6, students are going to learn about the Meskwaki. So we have different images from the Meskwaki tribe, both past and present. There's a text called People of the Earth that can be read. It is quite lengthy, so I would recommend picking out the most important sections. Lesson 7 takes a few days as students are researching a Native American tribe, and then they can create a book about said tribe using Google Slides. There's a template that you can give to students with the topic, the instruction in the speaker notes, and the camera represents a spot to place a picture. In lesson 8, we look at the tribal map and we can note the different regions where Native Americans were located or are located. There's also a video that you can watch that helps sum up westward expansion. Chapter 3 lessons are about moving west and how movement impacts people. We're looking at Homestead Act, Gold Rush, and Transcontinental Railroad. And we also discuss how saving or investing is important when you're thinking about the future in terms of how the people who decided to move west had to plan for their monetary needs. Lesson 11, we do a quick write over the supporting question, and then we ask students to look at this image, identify what type it is, talk about what they notice, and then to make some predictions about who they think this person is or what he was doing. This moves into a brief conversation on the gold rush, simply what it was and why people were encouraged to move there. There's an optional read aloud called the California Gold Rush, an interactive history adventure. In lesson 12, we look at this document, which is the Homestead Act, and students can look through it. I would suggest reading through it as some of the writing is difficult to understand, and then allow students to do a see, think, wonder, or other quick write about this document. There is a mini page to read about the Homestead Act so that students can understand why so many people decided to move. Right here is where we think about why homesteaders had to think about saving and investing in order to meet our 3.18 financial literacy standard. Lesson 13 continues along with that concept on saving and investing, and we have some information about covered wagons to Iowa, buying land in Iowa. Then we can also use the TrueFlex Oregon Trail or any other texts about that topic. Right after lesson 13, there are some more optional items related to the Oregon Trail. This is hit again in 5th grade and a little bit in 8th grade, but if you have some time, feel free to do a little bit more exploring on this trail. Lesson 14 has the Oregon Trail game that students can play. Lesson 15 is about the Transcontinental Railroad. Students start by looking at this map and try to figure out what is happening. This moves into some reading about the railroad. There's a cause and effect graphic organizer, and then there is a video available on the impact of the railroad on Buffalo. It is fairly intense for 3rd graders, so I would suggest as a teacher to watch it yourself and then give some prompting questions to help talk about the concept that Buffalo were pushed out of the area by the railroads being built. This can continue on a conversation of how that then affected the Native Americans living in the area. Following lesson 15 is the summative. You can have students explain why people move or focus directly in on the main compelling question. Or you can think about the following one of you've spent the school year so far learning about why people move. So what is happening in our world today that's causing people to move, and allow students to research and present. Either option is strong, and it gives you some flexibility in how you would like to collect the evidence of learning. I hope this video was helpful as you prepare to teach the migration unit. As always, please reach out to your PLC leader, instructional coach, or curriculum facilitator if you have any questions or in need of any additional support.